Hello and welcome to Let's Enter the Arena. I'm your host, VM Campos. This is the podcast where I talk with a member of the Magic the Gathering community, and we focus on Magic Arena. Well, everyone, 2019 was a triumphant year for this podcast. It launched on January 4th, 2019, and was published every single Friday for the whole year. I had a variety of guests talking to me about Magic, specifically Magic Arena. And what was amazing about that was that everyone shared some commonalities. I asked every single person that was brand new to the podcast to tell me a little bit about their Magic origin story, and it was really cool to hear a variety of them. So this special episode will be that, a recap of everyone's origin story on how they got into Magic the Gathering. I hope you enjoy listening to people's recollections on how they first started in the most amazing game of all time. Please enjoy, and see you in the year 2020.
Crest the Star, here I am. Well, I started playing Magic about 2 months ago at this point. My boyfriend was really on some, I really want you to play, but I was like, Magic seems very intimidating at first. There's a lot of cards. On the surface, it looks like there's a lot of rules, but I played Paper Magic first for like 2 weeks. And then I got into MTG Arena, and I've been addicted ever since.
That's exactly what I like to hear, because I only put addicts on my podcast. I totally enable them.
Hi, this is Luke from Couch Troll Brewing. I started playing Magic back in 2009. About M10 Alara Block was my first packs that I was really buying into. I was super casual, just kitchen table stuff. I took a reasonably long break after Rise of the Eldrazi ended, and I didn't really get back into it until, ironically, when they returned to Zendikar and went back, I started back up in about Oath of the Gatewatch, really playing Magic properly again.
Lilianda. Well, I've been playing tabletop Magic for a couple of years, just casually. I haven't done any tournaments or anything like that. There was a card store that was by my house that we went to for a while, ended up closing down, went to another card store, ended up playing there for a little bit, but it's a little bit further from us, so we don't frequent there very often. So my experience really for Magic the Gathering Arena comes from tabletop Magic.
Keeb. I was originally introduced in around the 5th grade. I'm 33 now. So I was given free cards, so I had what you'd call a rainbow deck at that point. And I was at camp in the 5th grade, and a bunch of people were playing, and I got into it. I know I had a what's the big worm? It's like a 7/7 worm. It's just, the art is so iconic too. It just Siege Worm, I think it was.
Oh yeah,
Siege Worm. That was like my big drop that I had. If I could pull it and get it going.
Michaela Downs, also known as Kyrie on Magic Arena. So I feel like my Magic road has not been a direct route. And so long ago, my dad bought a starter set of Portal. So that was like my first ever actually seeing Magic cards. But I never really played then. And then in high school, I had a group of friends who got together Friday nights, and one of them had a collection. We would just put together like crazy decks and just casually play. But I'm the type of person who doesn't do things casually ever. So of course I stumbled on competitive Magic, kind of attended a few tournaments around like Time Spiral Block, quit for a few years, and then I came back to the game from about late 2010 through early 2015. I played a fair amount, most of that being 2011, 2012.
Edvibe? In general, I've been playing since 1998. Actually, it's because that's when Pokemon was big, and if you remember, the trading card game came out. That my older brother was like, this looks familiar, because it was published by Wizards of the Coast and it ran like Magic. So after I showed him the Pokemon trading card game, he basically was like, nope, you're going to play Magic, and taught me how to play Magic.
The one true game.
Yeah.
Littlest Gremlin. I started doing IRL. My boyfriend took me to a tournament, and it was the Sealed Ravnica one. So we did the Sealed Ravnica tournament. I lost terribly. So they kind of were like, well, here's a freebie pack. But we got to keep all the entire like deck box that we got, so it was great. And then I did one other one in real life since then, but I prefer online. I prefer Magic the Gathering Arena.
My name is Alan. Like, I started playing Magic when I was 9 or 10, which is almost 20 years ago now. I traded a frog for my first deck. I caught it at a summer camp and traded it to someone else for a deck. And that was back, I want to say it was Ice Age, maybe. Yeah. I remember my deck was really good because it had like a Vizardrix and then like whatever the red carbon copy of Vizardrix was, like the Ogre. They were both just like 6/6s for 7 or something nuts. And then like my first kind of, played a bunch of people and just beat them because big creature can't beat it, whatever. It's funny because that's when creatures were terrible. Yeah. But then came up against someone playing like a Leviathan deck, like a blue Leviathan control deck, and just could never win. And it was kind of neat to see like the strategic depth there. But as a 9-year-old, I didn't really care.
Patricia, or Patricia, whatever you want to call me. In general, about a year and a half, I don't play that frequently. My skills are very, very, very basic, but once in a while I get to play. I just played literally a couple days ago, and I was testing it, and but I think I'm gonna play it more frequently because I really like it.
So you got hooked on it just like everyone else?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't wait to play it at every waking moment like everyone else?
I like it everyone. Yeah, I'm concerned about my job too. I'm a play there.
Cheshire plays games. I technically started around beta-ish. Yes, I know, even though I'm Australian, there's a long explanation to this that I can make really easy.
Sure.
We found a box of beta. It was probably about 8 months after beta was originally launched in the US. Somebody had brought a box of beta back, had opened some starters, and then given the rest to his father. And his father just like put it in their little dinky store, basically. And we found them, and we didn't know how to play or anything, so we just bought the box. And then, oh, pretty cards. Wish I still had the cards, of course, being beta, but all things.
Welcome, Dev Doodle.
Hello.
And welcome, Pixie Kitten.
Hi, thank you for asking me on here. This will be my 21st year playing Magic. My first game was in 1998 when I was in 2nd grade.
Oh, that's cool. Really cool.
It's been a very long journey.
Well, cool. What about yourself, Pixie?
I started playing Magic the Gathering about a year ago. So I'm very, very, very new. That's awesome.
That's a really cool spectrum right there.
Hi, I'm Ben Holt from Baltimore, Maryland. So, a little bit of background here. So, currently I'm a college student. I played Magic back in 5th grade around the Zendikar, Zendikar expansion sets, and I took a break for a couple years, and then I came back and I got a lot more involved as a high school student, and I started enjoying Friday night drafts and things. So, I've been playing for a while, just I've taken a break in between when I first started and when I play now. You never really quit, though. You just take breaks.
Bad Wolf NTG. Well, I got into Magic back right before the Theros block started. Greek mythology just is one of my favorite things, and so I entered at the perfect time and have been playing ever since then. Oh, it is so cool to see just some of the parallelisms they've drawn in some of the cards, and you can be like, oh yeah, that's from there, and go back and look at the the actual history and stories of that and compare it to what they've done in the stories and on the cards, and it's just so much fun to see that.
Inspector Jeff, how are we doing tonight? So here's an interesting thing, okay? I'm recently just getting back into Magic. I'm 32. When I was 9, I'll keep it short, I went to my aunt's house every summer, and there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood. And there was one kid across the street from my aunt's house, and his name was Jared. And Jared had Magic the Gathering cards and introduced me to the game. So I was just a young lad, had no idea what I was really getting into at the time.
Hi, I'm Megan from Seattle. So I started back in spring of 2009. It was right before Magic 2010 released. And I had played off and on from then until 2013 when I taught my wife how to play, and we've been playing Magic together for 6 years straight.
Aiden. I don't know the exact time frame, but I think it's been about 12, maybe more years. Started off sometime in elementary school playing with my brother, but there was a huge pause because nobody else really played it that I knew. Since I stopped, I haven't really had a chance to play too much since then, so it was a little on and off, but ever since I got back into it and with Arena coming out, I've been playing it pretty much every day.
I am Lígia, also known as Rinalika. I'm a Magic player from Brazil. Oh, I started in 2005. 2005. I was doing a pre-course for college. I was trying to enter college, so we do this preparatory school to enter college properly. And some friends taught me the game, and I was fascinated at first by images. I remember very clearly, I really, really liked art of MTG was the very first thing that drew my attention. Then I moved to flavor texts that they really draw me even more than arts, and interaction between cards. Suddenly I was playing Magic with my friends.
Jose Manzano. Nice to meet you guys. I've played Magic, I believe since 2012 I got into it, so, I'm around when Chandra was the big, hitter that everybody wanted to do mono red or, maybe a mono blue. But that's when I started playing Magic. As soon as I started liking it, I got into learning the old sets. And so far, my favorite set of all time is Time Shift. Ever since then, I've just been playing on and getting into the newer sets.
Everyone, please welcome Jelly.
Hey, hello. And just recently started with Magic, so it's been now a bit before M20, and so like about 3 months, I think.
Oh, wow.
So
great.
really, really fresh thing. It took me a long time to start, so I've been thinking about it like maybe a year or like half a year to be like, try different games. And then I was like, oh, Magic, but it's so difficult. And so I was a bit afraid to be overwhelmed. And then, I finally started and I just liked it a lot. It's really great.
Please welcome to the podcast, Stevie.
Thanks for having me. I have been playing off and on for since 2001. Took a long break to focus on other card games, and then when you and the gang at school, I picked it up again, and ever since then, 3 years ago, been playing Magic full time for 4 years now.
Welcome my brand new guest, Anna.
Hi, everybody. I started in 1995. I was 8 years old. I started with 4th edition, played with my cousins, and just kept, I would get cards with them or get cards like from my dad, and I would like build decks and just play with them. And then I kind of kept it up through school. My cousins kind of stopped playing, but I kept playing through like grade school, high school. Played a lot by myself. Like I just had like 7 or 8 decks, and I just like sit on the floor of my room and play my decks against each other.
The good old classic Magic Solitaire.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it was super fun, and it always kept me engaged.
Hello, my name is Top Hat Talab. You can just call me Talab. Well, I got my first deck for my birthday in December of 1993, which
nice.
The set at that time was beta. And I got my first deck and I played for quite some time. I played until Cold Snap. And then when I stopped, I'd actually given all of my cards away. And I look back at it now, of course, and see, I'm sure I had duels and all sorts of other stuff in there. And it just, it hurts the soul,
Yeah.
But I stopped in Cold Snap. And then I picked it back up again in the Return to Ravnica block. And I've been playing ever since.
Please welcome Marshmallow Cat.
Hello there.
The very first time I was ever introduced to Magic was actually in 6th grade by a girl that I had known for a very long time. Basically, all of us were getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time because that had just started and was getting really big. And then a year later, Magic started getting popular at my school, and I tried it out again. And that, when I got into it then, it was Dark Steel, I think, was the recent set that had come out. So, yeah.
Please welcome BMO.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So I first started playing Magic. I was in a bowling league in high school, so like early 2000s, and the guy that was on my team loved Magic, and he gave myself and my sister these little starter decks, and I did not like the game at all. I thought it was dumb. I was not interested in it in the least bit. And then about 5 years later, I had a group of friends that all started getting into it on Magic Online. And I absolutely just fell in love with the game at that point.
Please welcome Alan.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So I very briefly learned to play Magic when I was in the 6th grade, which was probably 2003, probably, but it was very, very short-lived. I learned from a classmate, and after I had learned from him, he moved away, all within the span of like 2 months, which was kind of odd. I'm an avid card game player. I played Pokemon back in 95, 96 when that came out. Like I basically been playing card games, and then I picked up Magic again when Rise of the Eldrazi came out.
Please welcome Wizard Oak.
Hello. Well, I started playing Magic around 2013. Wearing the Hero set, I believe. It's a Hero? Yeah, Hero set. I currently kind of a little drop out of it. A couple years later, I got back to it because that was like this year now, due to I work with Eve Club and a bunch of kids interested in playing Magic, and I know how to play Magic. But I lost track of it, so I went back to this gaming club and just had playing Peppers, then later Arena.
Hey everybody, I'm Zariah. So I've been playing Magic mostly for the last little over a year now. I played it a few times back in 2009 to 2012, but never really picked up my interest at that time. About September of last year, my friend Lucky Khajiit got me into Magic Arena while it was still in the closed beta, and that just took me. I got really into Magic very quickly at that point.
And those were the origin stories of all the guests I had on Let's Enter the Arena, a Magic Arena podcast. If you'd like to hear everyone's full stories, check the show notes, where I've got links to every single person's episode. You'll be able to go back and listen to every single episode. I've had many guests on, multiple times actually, where we talk about their Magic history, we talk about cards that have been previewed, future sets, strategy, and much more. The purpose of this podcast was to get a variety of people that love Magic and have something to say about it. I think the podcast has succeeded so far, and will continue to do so because of you, the listeners. Keep on listening, subscribing, liking, and sharing. It really means a lot to me and all of our guests. You'll find past, present, and future episodes at all your favorite podcast venues. Spotify, Pandora, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, etc., etc. Everywhere fine podcasts are found. Thank you once again to every single guest that's been on my podcast, and thank you, the listener. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in the arena.